Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone for being here this evening. This is continuation. We still have to proceed all the way through with the rest of it. We're proceeding on from a workshop onto the regular agenda. Notice of the regular meeting. This has been posted on March 8th at 3:30 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551-051-050. Not less than 72 hours of the status meeting. We do have the presence of a quorum. All the members are present at this time. We've already done item 2, invitation and pledge of allegiance. And item 3 is where we are now, invitation to the audience for public comment. That includes board, staff, audience. Anyone like to add comment, anything from the workshop, current events, anything? Yes, Bud?
I would like to thank staff, and I'm speaking to the managers, and I thank y'all, but please convey my thanks to your crews. The ones who are out there on that water main break on the island that, you know, we all got complaints about, but it really did not bother me because you guys did an excellent job. It was an emergency, and you handled it in a very quick and professional manner. And I want to thank you, but please let the guys know that we're in the hole and doing the work. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Concur, compliments to all. Yes, sir. Was the phone blow up? Anything else anyone would like to discuss? Audience? I know we have some new members in the audience here that don't recognize. Moving on to item number 4, consider and discuss for possible approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on February 28th, 2018. Everyone had a chance to review, anything in particular to discuss, change, or amend. Otherwise, we will pass the minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Alvarez for approval.
Second.
Second by D. Wells. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
I
abstain. I wasn't here.
All in favor, for the record, Mr. R. Wells abstains. Mr. Carey, thank you. Moving to item number 5, General Manager's report. Carlos?
Yes, I wanted to bring an update on the audit report. So I asked Mr. Barrera to give me an update on see where we're standing, and I attached one of the emails on that agenda item for you to read. And he's mentioning that he's had a lot of work and all kinds of issues, but he's doing his best to finish. And today he sent me another email saying that as we speak, he's already sent some of the information to their second corporate office so they can review the work that's been completed, and that hopefully we can meet with the committee as soon as he's complete with all the information from the corporate office. And I kind of asked him to go ahead and send me something, you know, for the committee in the next week or so we can at least attach another agenda item for the next meeting of the 28th. Yeah. So we can complete this audit. So he's already aware of that he wants to, you know, send it already and let the committee know what the results are.
We're hopefully not encountering some of the things that have gone in past audits already with questions, issues, all that sort of
stuff. There's a few items, but they're minor.
Okay, so in his email, he referenced 7 findings that need some response or explanation. He sent to Mr. Gomez. Right. And then he says that, you know, 3 more that will be sent. So I'm assuming that those are being addressed from the
Yes, they're going to be addressed. Some of these are already from last year.
There was some that were carry over from the prior years, and I addressed those to Mr.
That's all I was asking.
Yeah. He hasn't sent the other 3 though.
The district's part of this process is being expedited to expedite the audit.
Oh, yes.
Correct.
I knew so, thank you.
Is there any other questions on this?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item number 6, District Engineer's Report, Capital Project Status.
All right. Yeah, I just went ahead and put together a Gantt chart. I know a few years back we've been doing this on a regular basis when we had multiple projects going on their system improvements. And so I went ahead and just updated it, including the current status of our Portobello wastewater treatment plant. And, you know, just the part of the Proposition 1 that's still active is the reuse systems, where essentially we're fixing the sewer plant, and that's pretty much maximizing the remainder of the funds from Proposition 1. And, yeah, this is just kind of giving you a timeline of how we started back in 2012. And this is sort of something I might try to be expanding on for our revenue projects, like the water treatment plant study, what we're going to do with that lagoon, some other projects as they turn up. So I'm going to try to just keep this Gantt chart turn up just so you can get an idea where the projects are at and just going forward.
Mr. Gillette?
Mr. Chairman, board members, in the conversation I had today with Mr. Avalos, and he probably expand a little better. I, for one, would like to continue with what we did earlier in the year and had our workshop with kind of our direction and track of where we want to go so we can stay on track with these projects and other things that we're doing. I think that, Alex, would you go ahead?
Yeah, I was just, I started getting a little concerned that, you know, we are deviating from the workshop that we all participated in January. And I want to make sure because I kind of felt like everybody had some input, and we actually took the time to prioritize at that time what we thought was what we needed to move forward with. In essence, kind of like a map. And I want to make sure we don't steer away too far from that. When I was looking at this, it looks like everything that's in check marks is pretty much done.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I think it'd be great to get, you know, some updates on the projects that aren't done, and just like on a monthly basis maybe, you know, just to see where we're at and make sure we're on course, and hopefully when we discuss it in public that somebody that might be familiar with the project other than ourselves might be able to notice some things that are either not on schedule or whatever the case may be, in order to possibly avoid some of the issues that we always seem to come up with. And I know they're always going to exist. I mean, they're always going to be there, but if we can take some steps to try to eliminate some of that, and I think, you know, getting updates on at least maybe once a month on some of these projects would be good. And that way it kind of gives us a heads up. It's like, okay, we know this didn't happen, and we might be getting, an expense there. That would be good to know ahead of time. But I appreciate you putting this together. And it took me a while just to kind of figure it out, you know, but I see that, you know, most of this stuff is already done. I really would like to focus on the stuff that's not done, and just bring us up to date on that, just at least once a month, something like that.
And that's the intent of, just sort of my quick run to get something
Right.
on the items.
And I appreciate you putting it together right away, actually.
Yeah, but I'm going to expand on giving you, percent complete, invoicing, contract time.
Yeah.
Those sort of start dates, especially the Cortisol plant, since that's our major project going on
Right. And that was really great. I mean, that Leon really explained it so that even I could understand it, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. Excellent. Carlos, anything else?
No, that wraps it up.
Thank you very much. Moving to 7, Director of Operations report.
Yes, sir. What I presented here was just the monthly report on service calls that we've been getting in the month of February. We had a total of 220 service calls for the distribution department. And as you can see, they're itemized under customer service, 135, irrigation 7, distribution 16, water loss 37, collection 3, water plant 2, 1, and 21 call-outs. And those are summarized below in a little bit more detail. And again, as you can see, on the water loss, there's an asterisk, kind of a footnote telling you what causes those water loss. And the same thing with the service orders, the type of calls that we get. If there's no questions, on the next page we have the service calls that were made to the collection department. And there were 48 calls. Collections were 45, 2 call-outs and 1 maintenance. And again, those are break down a little bit more detailed on the bottom of that. And the collection department, of course, those 45 refers to a lot of the flushing of the main line. Most of it is preventive maintenance. Through backup in order to there's no questions that pretty much concludes my report.
Any comments? Thank you, Robert. Number 9, consider and discuss for possible approval the purchase of a mini excavator.
So we request some quotes for,
Yes. Excuse me. Item number 8, consider and remove from the table the following item tabled at the regular meeting on February 20th, 2018. Consider and discuss for possible approval the purchase of a mini excavator. Motion to take it off the table.
So moved.
Motion made by R. Wells,
Second.
seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. None opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9, consider and discuss for possible approval the purchase of a mini excavator.
yes, we request for quotes for the purchase of this equipment. And we are recommending going with Duggett to purchase the John Deere 35G model. You have questions or?
Any comments?
I'd like to thank Joel for a very good letter of explanation, if I characterize it that way, of the need, the use, and the necessity of this. Thank you. It really helped me. I did look at the unit before we tabled it last meeting. I agree that it needs to be replaced. I would like to have had in this bid packet, I don't want to delay it, but I would like to have had the option of considering an open cab or an enclosed cab. I spoke with Joe before, and he told me that an enclosed cab certainly keeps the unit in better shape longer from the environment and rust. It deteriorates. I don't disagree with that at all. I would like the board to be able to make that decision. You know, give us both options. Give me your best shot at that time for doing an enclosed cab in the bidding process or recommendation. That's all I'm asking for in the future.
Okay.
Mr. Doyle, if I may, one of the reasons that we went with the closed cab was kind of a safety issue. The crew that's out there sometimes will work in the middle of the night, especially coming around the summer. You have a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of insects, and as you well know, if you're standing around for too long, you'll get swamped with mosquitoes and other insects.
Yeah, but the guys in the hole, the guys in the hole don't have a cab to get into.
No, but if you, no, I understand that, but if you're operating that machine, and you're trying to get a mosquito off your face, that can become a safety issue.
Off. Okay, I don't dismiss your reasoning there, but I still ask that you give us the option of open roughs or enclosed cab, and give us your best reason at that point, and please let us make that decision at that time.
Okay.
Well,
We will, I mean, for sure, we'll do that next time, if there is a next time while I'm here. But one of the main reasons is the bees. We've been out in the field or clearing brush to lay line or just to locate them, the 24-inch line that's out in the Laguna Heights, in the brush area, and we've encountered the bees. We move a pile of brush, they come out, and as many of you know, they usually attack the vibration part that's bothering them. So the guy that's inside the excavator will have to, A, secure, turn off, and jump off, run into the truck, or he's already secured inside the cab.
How much difference? How much difference is there in the price?
I don't think so.
Is it just, you know, a few grand or 10,000 or?
Around
Anybody know?
5,000.
I think about $5,000.
Yeah, let's get the closed
Yeah,
cab.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
And it has happened where we've been stung by bees a few times.
Again, the guys in the hole.
Everybody.
this current unit is enclosed, right? This is current.
No.
This current one is. Not?
No, it's not.
No. I want to thank our purchasing agent for for continuing to look into this and getting us a lot of information on all this equipment.
These are all enclosed, right?
Yeah, they're all
All
enclosed.
enclosed.
Yeah.
I'll second. There's been a motion, I didn't do the first motion.
I move to recommend staff's recommendation that they, who is it? Doggett? Doggett.
Motion made by Dewell, seconded by Mr. Houston. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are, they're none opposed, motion carries. Yay, I'm for it. Item number 11. Consider and discuss for possible approval, selection of an environmental, number 10. Consider removing the table the following items at the regular meeting on May 28th. Consider and discuss for possible approval selection of an environmental firm for geotechnical services and groundwater monitoring, sampling, and analysis.
So moved.
Motion to remove by R. Wells,
Second?
seconded by Mr. Avalos. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
There are none opposed, off the table. Moving to item number 11, consider and discuss for possible approval selection of environmental firm for geotechnical services and groundwater monitoring, sampling, and analysis.
Right, so yeah, this is basically a follow-up from our last meeting. Our last meeting, we completed the qualifications portion, where we had, Tetra Tech, Ambiotech, and PSI ranked as the top 3. And then now we have pricing for the groundwater component of it, and the quotes came in basically in reverse order from the way the qualifications rank. So I'll just leave it at the board's discretion. I mean, all 3 are capable. It's just, I mean, at this stage, since on the arsenic at the water plant site, there's really a lot of variation, so we couldn't put a price on that for an apples to apples comparison. But on the groundwater, it's cut and dry, so at this stage, recommend award to firm for groundwater monitoring, and then we continue negotiating our path forward for the water plant sludge at plant 2.
So this is just for continuing what we're doing now, which requires EQ monitoring of these items.
Yes, right.
And my other question is on Terratech out of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Are you satisfied that they can respond and handle it from that distance?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much both Tetra Tech and PSI are using the same lab out of Corpus, Test America Laboratory. And I mean, it's been a little longer on the response time in terms of, leaving a voicemail. But I mean, they have been responsive, so it's a matter of, Ambiotech's, I guess their geologist is local. The PSI, they have their office in Harlingen as well. Tetra Tech's really the only one that doesn't have a local presence.
We work with them all.
Right. So it's just, I'm really
Another
leaving,
issue.
leaving up to the board's discretion.
On the PSI proposal, on the second page, it says, on top, it says, purge groundwater from wells to be stored in on-site drums and/or plastic containers. Disposal of purged groundwater to be permitted off-site facility if not required is not planned or anticipated. Is that something that could possibly be our cost?
No, I mean, that would just basically be disposed of right there on site, right?
Okay.
I mean, I don't anticipate that being an additional cost.
Okay.
So would that be in the contract? Or the agreement?
Well, the agreement's basically for the set price for 3 years, so I mean, that's not gonna.
What you just read was it may be an additional cost, but you'll have that clear in the agreement that there will be no additional cost.
Yeah.
Also on what's it, the PSI? Yeah. On page 3, and this is the same thing, it's talking about storage, transportation, or disposal of hazardous substances. We have a way to handle that. We don't need them to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it says, this proposal does not include the handling, storage, transportation, or disposal of hazardous substances.
Oh, right. Yeah, that would be if we run into hydrocarbons, but I mean, we don't anticipate.
Okay.
Did anybody else
The,
consult, did anybody else consult with this? We talked last that, some others want to work with you to make the final rating here, or our general manager up to speed on?
I kind of assisted a little bit, not a whole lot. He's
our
more
director of
knowledgeable
operations.
of all the information, so, but it looks pretty, comfortable to go that route.
you concur with the engineer's assessment from your looking in what he's doing, and the director of operations the same?
Yes.
That's my comments.
I'm looking at the PSI versus the Tetra Tech, and I really see no significant difference other than the price. But you mentioned something about the labs that do the work.
Well, they both have the same lab, like Test America versus Ambiotech's proposed an A and B labs. And, I mean, I guess maybe the one concern, I don't know if Rock can, because PSI's present here, as far as, you know, that there was that dilution factor, I don't know if that's something to,
We did have issues with Test America during our last sampling event. However, we intentionally did not include Test America as the lab to be used in our current proposal to you guys. We left it and just stated that it would be a TCEQ qualified laboratory. Because we are in the process of kind of, you know, weighing our options with different analytical labs. Make sure that kind of mistake doesn't happen again.
What kind of issues did you have with Test America?
What happens is that during the sampling of Monitor Well 1, we had high concentrations of salts from the ocean water from around here. In order to get the chlorides down so they can do their analysis on the nitrates, they needed to dilute it. But in retrospect, when you look back at the other previous sampling events, they didn't need to do that before. So it was kind of like a misjudgment call on their part. When they really didn't do that before, they weren't really looking at the historical data when they used dilution factors before. So we went back to them, talked to them, reconfirmed with TCEQ, and just kind of had them rerun the analysis on it.
And would that be an additional time and cost for the district if that was to, we were to wind up using?
No, that wouldn't be an additional cost.
Okay.
We had plenty of sample left over that was still in holding, and they just reran the analysis, and that wasn't passed on to the district. No. That was on us.
yeah, I did call TCG for recommendation on PSI, and I mean, they've seen no alarms in the word. You know, as far as the, coordination with, we got that TCG letter, and there was a response that was provided to it. So, and then it's just a matter of, where do you go from there? Like, we do anticipate having to install an additional monitoring well to replace, monitoring well 1 will remain in place, but that's the one that has the high nitrates. So we expect the new upgrading well to be installed at some stage, in the near future, just to prevent that issue from continuing. But that's an additional cost that isn't, on the proposal at this time.
Okay.
Well,
Charles, on the scoring process here, and thank you, Intertech, for being here. On the scoring process, I find it curious on for example, the project approach wasn't as high as some of the others, nor was, firm experience and capability. Is that based on your experience with them or your assessment of them? Why would they score a lower score?
It was based on the resumes and the project experience records in the proposal that was submitted. Basically, like for example, PSI, the resume for the intern wasn't in there, so we have no way of knowing her experience record or the experience record.
So that affected their experience and capability?
Well, yeah, it was just basically, when you look at the experience level of the resumes and the work experience that the three firms have done, that's basically how and then the way Tetra wrote the project approach, it was, very, very clear and concise versus compared to the other two. There was a recognizable improvement on how they described how to proceed with both the water plant sludge issue.
Then let me, thank you for the explanation. Let me ask you this question, I'll let go. Of all three, are all three of them capable of doing the job that we need done?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that low score on that particular concern that Doyle has is just a consequence of geography, where they're located. You're talking about a very metropolitan area versus down here, so that might play into that a little bit, I think. But I like the low price, to be honest with you, and although the company offers a lot more professionalism, if we can get the job done for a little bit less money, I truly support that, so I'll make a motion, we go with PSI.
Yes, I.
Motion made by Mr. Avalos and seconded by Arwells. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 12, consider and discuss.
Before we move on, do the job. Do the job, okay?
Yes, sir.
I don't care about any fluff and buff, if you will, and getting the resume right. Do the job right in the field, and we're happy.
We'll make sure that the district is compliant with CCQ and everything rolls smoothly.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Item 12, consider and discuss the possible approval of job descriptions for the general manager, director of operations, director of finance, and district engineer.
Mr. Chairman, I did provide the information on each of the job descriptions, and we had Mr. Avalos on one of them because of some concerns, but we feel comfortable now that they're okay. I don't know if y'all have any questions or comments on.
Yeah, I talked to Mary earlier about this, and I'd like to tape to Mary, or HR. And I'd like to table this item and actually kind of get together and do a workshop on it. I have a lot of highlighted areas that I have questions on, and I also think that it would be appropriate if we're going to approve, for instance, I think the only one we evaluate would be the general manager. I think it's appropriate that we evaluate before we approve a job description, and do it in conjunction, actually. I think that's the right process. I think that's the right way to do it. It makes sense to me, because we can individually look at this and say, okay, well, yeah, he's doing that, but he's not doing this, or whatever. But I think if we sit down and talk about it, and kind of in a way, we're doing an evaluation, and then approve the job description, that might be a better way to.
When did we do your last evaluation? It was fairly recent.
Fairly recent, yeah. We do an annual evaluation on the
Okay.
ones that are under our direct oversight.
Right.
And so I'm not understanding how the evaluation would be part of the job description.
Well, I'm just wondering, in other words, the evaluation, when you evaluate somebody, you're going to determine whether they're doing the things on the job description. If they're actually, you know.
It's a direct reaction, it follows along.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm wondering, if it's something, because I do have a few areas that I'd like to.
I would like to go ahead and table this also and go ahead and devote the proper time to it and go ahead. I don't see the need to evaluate.
Okay.
If we're going to take and consider making any changes to the job description, then we need to go ahead and do that, and then we can't fault anybody
Right.
by their evaluations if they haven't done anything that we haven't even made any changes for yet.
Right.
I have one question under the first tab. Who's our general manager?
I saw that.
I second the motion to table.
Motion made by Mr. Avalos, seconded by Mr. Velos for the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Your Honor, none opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Workshop, we do need to have a spring workshop. Our recommendation would be kind of get focused on April, end of April, 1st of May. It's a pretty good time for everyone.
Break it up, let's go ahead and do the project direction, in one workshop, and then go ahead and do another workshop on these items. We'll pick it up now, time preference. Timeline, yes.
Time will be here, that would be my suggestion. Moving to 13, consider and discuss for possible approval of raw water agreement with SBI Gulf Homeowners Joint Venture, Inc.
This is Mr. Houston's idea.
Mr. Chairman, I think my prior recommendation at the lowering was premature.
Yes?
This district couldn't stay in business very long if we did everything at cost.
Yes?
I'd recommend that we go back to the prior rate to the end of the year, and then after we do this new rate setting, we can revisit it at that time and see what the proper charge would be. Yes.
What was the previous, 80 cents?
80 cents, correct.
I'll second that.
Is there a motion made by
Just
Mr.
have clarification. I see a curious look in Charles's face.
Well, the base charge, because the base charge has been one of those things because in the rate study, the base charge wasn't included, but we just want to clarify that the rate charge,
But,
the base charge.
they're gonna do a rate study still. They haven't completed it, Charles.
Yeah, but as far as the action today, we basically, the base charge remains in the agreement as it was in the original, plus the eight, on top of the 8 cents.
Which was the prior agreement before.
Right.
Yes, it was.
Made a modification.
It was-
So it'll be the base charge plus 80 cents?
Right, the base charge is just a regular service, like the lowest, for usage and the water availability that we have. It's just a base charge, $250.
There's a motion made by Mr. Houston, and then second by Mr. Oblos, is that correct?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? None, motion carries, thank you. Moving to item 14, consider and review expenditures for February 15th through February 28th, 2018. So we'll have a chance to review them, we'll count them as one, if not, we'll discuss any one in particular you'd like.
I'd like to need it just clear up.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Consider and review, any questions on them?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. We've got number 15, executive session permitted by the Open Meetings Act, UTCA Government Code Section 551001, S under Section 551071, consultation with attorney, Section 551072, deliberation about real property, Section 551074, H1, authorizing certain deliberations about officers and employees of the district to be held in executive session. Item A, discussion lot 1, PI, industrial parking and adjacent Laguna Madre Water District Maintenance Yard on Woody Lane. Item B, consider and discuss the possible approval of the purchase of 9.6 plus acres of land. Item C, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation of family duties, discipline, and or dismissal of district employees to a district director of finance. Need a motion to go into executive session at 6:02 PM.
So moved.
Made by Mr. Houston, motion. Seconded by D. Wells, all those in favor?
Aye.
We'll go into executive session, do we need to take a 5-minute recess, or we'll go straight to executive session? Take a 5-minute recess, we'll resume at 6:07 PM. Thank you. Good evening to all, need a motion to come out of executive session at 7:23 PM.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by R. Wells, all those in favor?
Aye.
They are, we're out of executive session. Item A, discuss lot 1, PI Industrial Park and adjacent Laguna Madre Water District Maintenance Yard on Woody Lane. Need a, motion was to proceed as directed. Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by R. Wells. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are, none opposed, motion carries, thank you. Consider and discuss for possible approval to purchase 9.6 plus acres of land. Motion was to proceed as directed.
By Mr. Houston, seconded by Mr. R. Wells.
Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are, any opposed?
Thank you.
None, motion carries. Item C, to deliberate the appointment, employment, valuation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of district employees to a director of finance. Motion is to proceed as directed by staff. Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by Mr. R. Wells. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are, any opposed? None, motion carries. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned at 7:24 PM. Thank you all for your